And hello there, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in the Epic Cup. We have moved past some very, very impressive quarter-final games, and now we are here in our first semi-final, Kwak-A-Mole against Sardiinis in a can. I am joined by my good friend Brightwing.
Hello, teaming up once again after yesterday's marathon run, hoping to cast some more amazing games today with you.
Thank you very much. We are looking forward here to very, very strong sides coming out here. Sardines in a can, couple of close personal friends there. They like to hang out on my Discord, give me all of the best Brightwing strats, actually. That is basically what my Discord has become now, so looking forward to that. And Kwak-A-Mole, of course. Very strong team as well. Some familiar names coming through there. And if we take a little look at our map bans, we can see Sardines in a Can have banned out Infernal Shrines and Sky Temple, whilst we can see Kwak-A-Mole have chosen to remove Braxis and Towers. What do you think about that, Brightwing? Okay. Well, Braxis Towers, very nice bans, definitely. Don't like that Braxis map, and Towers is a very bizarre map to play on. Have I lost? Oh, but we've moved on from those bans. We can see the first map is going to be Alterac Pass coming out, ladies and gentlemen. And I think we have a draft ready for that game.
We are currently in draft at the moment. Got a Diva ban coming out from red side already, pretty much immediately. Been seeing a lot of Diva today in the games that I've managed to catch. Been a particularly oppressive solo laner in most of those games. Not surprised to see her banned out here.
I am an OTP Diva player. I played her back before she was viable. I had fun, and then Blizzard came along and they said, yeah, we're going to rework Diva. And then 2 years happened, and then it actually happened. And frankly, it was shocking, but now she really is a menace, isn't she, in that solo lane?
Absolutely. I always feel like I forget about her during draft, and then when it actually happened, I was like, oh, I wish I hadn't forgotten about this hero.
Yeah, definitely there can be a blind spot there. I think Gazlo is similar in that way. No one expects the Gazlo, even though he's OP. Everyone remembers the kid at the back of the class that put turrets down, didn't really know what he was doing. Turns out, even he can glow up into this monster of an offlaner.
So look, Gazlo, which hasn't been banned, so we possibly could see it be pulled out here.
Mm-hmm. A few more picks coming through there. We've seen ETC, Cassia, and Chromie removed, and now we see Li Ming as that first pick. Really nice denial onto the channels. You can just sit behind your own wall for a lot of these cap points and fire off massive orbs, denying caps for ages. Greymane Lucio is the response there, Brightwing.
Yep. I like the Lucio on this map. He's good at helping to deny those objective takes and really good at helping his team rotate around the map because it is quite a big map.
Mm-hmm. That is true. He can get a lot of value interrupting those rotations as well. The old solo Lucio, you just go and hang out between mid and bottom and harass anyone that comes and tries to say hello to you. Hamas Falas on the Anduin, and the Johanna coming out as well, though. That is a falling sword lightbow combo, potentially. What do you think about that?
I'm always a fan of seeing these wacky combos with ultimates that we maybe aren't used to seeing. I love Falling Sword Light Bomb. It's a really fantastic engage tool. Might struggle to pull it off with the Lucio boop in mind. Just immediately disengage.
You get quite a long range on that Falling Sword. I don't know. You might be able to, because there's a nice timing window. Obviously, that light bomb goes off before the Falling Sword comes down. So if you can just teleport right on top of that Lucio, right as the bomb goes off, that could set up for some big Li Ming combos. Lucio is not a healthy hero.
Absolutely, and it's like an ETC mosh, right? You want to make sure to catch as many people inside of it as you can to give yourself a higher chance of being successful.
Just looking to find as many of those targets to disable, and then one good squishy that you can just instantly pop. And especially with that Li Ming at the start of the draft, getting that first kill in fights is so crucial. Getting your resets up, that critical mass propped, a little bit of game knowledge. That, oh my lord, what? Zeratul and Gazlo coming out here. Spicy drafting. We've got that potential of VP Gravo Bomb or Light Bomb Gravo Bomb setting up Li Ming to get multiple kills in one fight.
If you were ever worried that you weren't going to land your light bomb combo, have Zeratul make everyone stand still. That'll do it.
But on the other side, we should mention Mal'Ganis Kel'Thas coming out, and that Leoric as the final pick. So quite a lot of nice wave manipulation on this map with that Leoric, which is, you know, it's a big map. The ability to double soak here is valuable, and I think Leoric can just about pull it off on Alterac Pass.
Yeah, once he hits that level 4, gets the Neo Peasants, he has the wave clear to do it. Might miss a couple of minions, because as you say, the map is very large. Also needs to talk about the possible Entomb value, being able to catch mostly just the Anduin and the Gazlo, since Zeratul and Li Ming have the ability to blink out of it. But having that with the Kel'Thas blow up, rather useful.
With that Anduin, though, they do have a very nice grip to just pull anyone out of those entombs. So Leoric is going to have to look to catch 2 people in these entombs if he wants them to be too valuable. And especially pre-20, when Li Ming and Zeratul can both blink out, it's going to be hard for him to land valuable entombs that aren't on the Anduin.
Exactly. It's one of the biggest pet peeves of being a Leoric player, when you take the Entomb and the Anduin just whether you're trying to blow up immediately out. It's awful.
Yes, indeed. But ladies and gentlemen, we have our first map we have come into here. So, without further ado, on the blue team, playing for Kwak-A-Mole in our first game of the semi-finals of the Epic Cup, we have got Herb playing the Greymane. We've got Jory playing the Leoric, Doom Redcoat on the Lucio, Bob Hetkajin on the Kel'Thas, and Dizzy Dwarf is playing Mal'Ganis.
And for Sardiinis in a cam, we have Sardiinis on the Gazlo, Odorox on that Johanna, we've got Scythe on Zeratul, Hamas Valas on the Anduin, and Dure on the Li.
I wonder why they aren't called Sardiini in a can.
Maybe it was a little bit too much of a Sardiini.
Maybe it was Sardiini's idea and he felt he had to pitch it down. I don't know.
Can't be all about me, guy.
Nice little bit of pressure, little gut punch at the level 1 there. You just want to have a look. Is my opponent actually come here to play? Can I get this cheap kill? But you're never looking for anything more than that. It's just a quick hello.
Possible catch on that Zeratul there if he's not careful. That's 4 people gone down to answer that.
Will have his blink back, so might be able to escape here, but actually it looks like he's going to go down to this pressure. Zeratul maybe just a little bit too far up trying to catch that XP, and he will be taken down. First blood going over to Kwak-A-Mole.
If you're farming in those side lanes, even if you're not playing the solo lane, you have to be careful of those big rotations. You've got to keep an eye on that mini-map, because it doesn't matter who you are. If you get caught by 4 people, you're like...
That is very true. You got to have that good mini-map awareness. You got to give Blizzard your £2.50, get that DLC installed.
Yeah.
Very important if you want
Mini-map DLC, guys, it's important.
Not really optional content, it turns out. This Greymane Lucio will be able to get their camp up first, so might be able to see how much pressure they can get out of this. Li Ming and Anduin, not the best clear in the game, but they're going to have a Johanna here to help them depush this.
Johanna clumping that camp up, I don't too much of an issue clearing that camp.
This is pretty much the main objective for the first 10 minutes of the game. Like, nothing else really happens. It's just who can get value from these absolutely disgusting armor-shredding camps. It does look like the answer's going to be no one for this first attempt, at least, doesn't it? Blue team coming out slightly ahead, but...
I do want to point out something while we're in a little bit of a lull here. You can't really undersell the value of Li Ming being able to interrupt these early objectives with the orb. Especially now that level 4 has been secured with the cooldown reduction. Pretty much ad infinitum, just interrupt these objectives until the red team are ready to take them.
Unfortunately for the red team, it has spawned topside, so they don't have that lovely little safety nook, which Li Ming can hit all possible channel points from, but she does still have the great range, and that's a very nasty choke point for the blue team to have to push through. So I imagine she should still be able to interrupt for a very long time.
Something I was hoping to ask you, what do you do as a tank or brute player in this situation? Because, like, you don't want to let your squishies get hit by the orb, but at the same time, it tank the orb in the face. You're giving a cooldown reduction, do it again.
So there are two main options to play into Triumvirate. The first is because it has to take 50% of its base range, you can try and hug Li Ming's face as much as possible so you can eat that orb early, and then she doesn't get the reset. The second is you can back your team to actually be able to dodge a slow-moving projectile. My teammates will tell you I generally choose to prefer the first. We accept we're griefers, and we get on with it. But depending on who you're playing with, both are viable methods.
Absolutely.
It is very important, though, on this map, when you're channeling, that if you see that orb coming, you try and dodge it, because if you don't, she will have an infinite interrupt on you.
So, noticeably large cooldown if you do manage to dodge, worth getting out of the way of. Even if you're not going to take that much damage.
Well, I mean, Li Ming orbs are made of candy, and everyone loves a bit of candy, but...
Nice little sugar rush. So both teams just sort of...
Greymane coming so close there to picking off the Li Ming. I think 80 health I saw as he dove into that, but she was just able to get behind towers. That will make the space, though, for the blue team. They are going to be able to get this first cap off, and it doesn't look like the red team are going to be able to step up to contest this right away.
No, they seem to be playing quite conservatively back. Zeratul in that bottom lane now, just backing. I don't know if he's going to get there in time for them to interrupt this first objective, so it's probably going to go over to the blue team.
It does look like a given camp play, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's fine. Like, when you draft yourself Zeratul Gazlo, you're not expecting to win before level 10.
No, you're definitely playing for that level 10 power spike.
I think it's very unfortunate for them that they had this top spawn as opposed to bottom, because they wanted, I think, from their draft to just get that constant Li Ming interrupt so they could play to 10 without the objective pushing through. And unfortunately, they weren't able to engineer that. Nice bit of aggression came out from the Kwak-A-Mole to deny them this. But let's see now how much value can they get with this push.
What I would have liked to have seen from the blue team is to maybe see more than just Mal'Ganis throw to up to see and try and catch the Gazlo. Rather than just passively trying to clear these lanes, just taking value where the Gazlo's overstepping.
That's fair. They appear to have opted to put all of their damage dealers down in the bot side to try and use that Greymane to shove in the bottom against the against what was at a time the solo Zeratul, who's not known for his wave clear. And it's done some work for them. Zeratul's been forced to back out, and looks like they're going to get at least half of a fort for their endeavors. Not sure how the red team are responding to it.
I feel like if you're playing into a team that has a level 10 power spike, you want to push these advantages as much as you can before you level 10. I feel like if maybe they had more solidly committed onto a single lane, tried to get a pick, and then maybe pushed a fort, it would have been a bit more advantageous for them going into that level 10.
That is true, but let's not undersell here the blue side's level 10s. That break it down is absolutely exceptional in fights, and not a bad answer to a lot of the blow up if he can get it off safely. And we've talked about Entomb and how it does get countered by the grip, but it still forces out like grips in the fight very early on. It allows your tank Mal'Ganis now to actually find those picks. And Greymane's bullet means Johanna is nowhere near as safe as she might like to be.
Absolutely, and it is important to remember that even if you can grip out the Entomb has a far lower cooldown. So you're not always going to have it available, so it can still be a fantastic tool fighting.
Team coming in here, looking for the engage. Unfortunately, whiffing the Blessed Shield, it won't be that falling sword. And then the Light Bomb follow-up there, not really able to get much value. Zeratul also not going for that VP, so not really the wombo setup we thought we might be seeing. Oh, as the Pyroblast comes out.
Zeratul catches the giant orange right in the face. Unfortunately, Anduin not having enough healing to counteract that.
What do you think about this? These ult choices for Zeratul and Johanna? I'm a little bit disappointed.
I mean, it's kind of the safe play, isn't it? You're not as combo reliant, maybe as your comp shows. Got a little bit more potential in the smaller skirmishes. We all like seeing the flashing bows, don't we?
Yeah,
But I think this is the safe play. Maybe if you feel like you're falling behind a little at the start, you're not sure that combo's going to be enough. This is maybe the play.
I think it drastically changes their potential kill targets, though. With that falling sword, you could realistically lock anyone in for that stun, and Gazo and Li Ming can just kind of run forward and slam their buttons. But now with shield, you're kind of more forced to pick your target as that Leoric or the Mal'Ganis, and Leoric is a really rough kill target because if he happens to E as you bless shield, that is very much not a kill.
That's true. Maybe it's to try and keep Johanna further set in the team rather than having to dive. Maybe they're worried about the possible grey main backline.
Maybe as Zeratul goes in on Kel'Thas here, he smells blood in the water, and that will be able to back the blue team away from this channeled objective. Camp's coming out though for the blue team, getting that macro pressure, and their boss is still pushing it. It's taken all the way to the keep wall there. Gravibomb coming out though onto the Lucio. Light Bomb being used, but they're not well synced up, and Scythe is falling very low here on the Zeratul. Pyro comes out on the limit, tries to blink it, won't be able to. That Orange taking the first kill on the fight, and now big sleep into the Anduin. Will he be able to back out of his Gazlo falling low as well? Lucio and Mal'Ganis will be able to finish him off. That is 2 kills going over to Kwak-A-Mole here, and they will be able to pick up this second objective.
I don't know if you noticed it, but the Mal'Ganis managed to avoid the light bomb by popping the medallion right at the start of the fight there, and it just seemed like the red team didn't have enough lockdown to deal the absolutely eye-watering amount of damage that Kel'Thas is doing at the moment.
Oh, Zeratul there, just giving Anduin the present that maybe he didn't want. Passing that bomb. Oh,
I mean, it is the season of giving, right? We are approaching Christmas. Get started early. This is a mega push in the mid lane. That needs to be cleared pronto before that objective arrives. That's going to possibly be a keep going down.
Kel'Thas is doing a great job here of just denying the health bars on the red side, making them super low, and without that Anduin now, stepping up feels so scary.
Even on someone like the Johanna, who you normally expect to step up and be your front line, if she's running around on 500 health, she's not going to do that.
They have hit the combo, Brightwing, the bless shield into the light bomb, the grabo bomb on top of it with the condemn. 3 members of the blue team go down, and maybe this was the plan all along. Maybe they thought, we don't need the distance, but maybe a slightly greedy clump there from the blue team. Massively punished there by that light bomb, bless shield into light bomb combo.
To make me immediately eat my words about Johanna being low health, Johanna went, no, I'm just going to pop this iron skin and walk into the enemy team.
Yeah, and
to the red team's credit, it worked. Maybe the blue team weren't worried about a possible engage, considering how far ahead they are, and it's cost them, as you pointed out. Members of the blue team being taken down at the end there.
Quite plausibly.
And they saved their keep.
Oh, they do indeed save the keep. Quite plausibly, the blue team there. Just looking at Johanna and thinking the same thing we were. That's a 300 health Johanna. We're not scared, but that incredibly important hold your ground on level 1, making her iron skin into something that just does not break. So valuable for allowing you to force at moments where other tanks just wouldn't be able to.
Yeah. I mean, that's the meme, isn't it? It's just Johanna just doesn't die. And being able to bait them in with the low health bar and then pop in the irons, pull off the combo was just like, that's how it all started, right?
That is very true. And it's that shield and the skin just lets Johanna really walk anywhere she wants to. And condemn grabo bombs, really quite a nice combo as well. You get everyone nice and close and slowed. Make it very easy for that Gazlo. And now we're coming really close to that level 16, and that's where this Zeratul build will really start to spike. He gets just that little bit more damage that lets him start to threaten these blow-ups onto those backliners.
I don't want to try and criticize the Zeratul build too much. Obviously it worked then, and I don't know all that much about Zeratul, but I'm surprised with the amount of ability they have to clump the enemy team that Zeratul didn't go for more of a cleave focus build. They've got the Johanna ability to clump, they've got the Grabo Bomb. I'm surprised they didn't go for an AoE build.
That's an interesting point. Maybe the feeling is that they have enough damage when they're clumped, and they want to be able to pick off and punish those people that back off as this massive team fight comes down. Again, the Light Bomb, Grabo Bomb combo doing wonders for Sardiinis in a cannon. They will be able to take up 2 picks, but this mid keep is going to have to be responded to before they can get value on that.
A lovely grabber bomb to eat stun combo by the Gazlo there, setting up 2 really nice kills. Both the frontliners, so it probably means that the blue team isn't going to be able to respond to this objective, even if they wanted to.
That is true. 18 seconds left on that Mal'Ganis. They've got about a 10-second fight window should they choose to take it, but often I'm a believer on this map that you're better off setting your lanes properly for the defense than you are making these Hail Mary stop the cap plays that require you to walk through a really nasty choke into a Johanna comp. I think this is a moment that maybe we want to just give, but the blue team doesn't seem to agree with me. Leoric is building this flank, and he does have that big entomb. If he can land it and make that space for his team to walk up, it could be very big.
10 seconds left on that objective, 5 seconds, no one's interrupting, but nice light bomb onto the back line of the blue team.
And our combo comes out again, the damage comes through, Kel'Thas will be the first to fall, and the red team are able to walk away. Some low health bars, but very well executed again. I think Kel'Thas may be getting a little bit lost there, slightly deeper than he wanted to be, and getting hit once again by that shield, light bomb, grabo bomb.
That can be one of the punishable-ish Kel'Thas, can't it? He has to step up quite close to get the full damage potential out of his kit. And I kind of agree with you that I feel like the blue team probably should have just backed off there and prepared their lanes for the objective. Like, the objectives do take an astonishing amount of damage just from minions alone. So you can really nullify the blow that the objective deals just by pushing your lanes out, even just by 1 or 2 waves.
Big attempt here on the Leoric. Damage comes out. He will drop here. Nice rotation from the red team. But, like you said, the waves were, at least in the top and bot side, quite pushed out here. It might be hard for the red team to get a lot of value here. Bless Shield comes down, though. Damage comes out. Greymane. Oh, I think he was there at one point, right wing.
I feel like I see a little bit of singed fur on the ground somewhere, and that's about it.
A little bit of singed fur, indeed. The Kel'Thas is back up, but his team have been dropping like flies whilst he was waiting, and now the stagger is here, and red team should be able to at least remove all the forts off of the map. I'd like to see them rotate up now, try and get that top boss, run it into the keep. But let's see what they want. Maybe they want another fight.
Possibly, and they might just get it here. They've got 3 members of the blue team around that fort in bot. It looks like they might go. Nope, thinking better of it.
The 4th member has respawned now, and they're not looking to dive the fort, I guess, with that level 19. They want to wait till their 20 window before they make any big plays, but maybe just setting this trap for boss instead.
I can't tell if it's excitement or despair, but the chat are talking an awful lot about Leoric's build. The auto attack talents at 13 and 16 and the Q at level 1.
I wouldn't like to comment too much on that Q at level 1 because I have no idea. But the auto build does have a place in the meta right now, and it is often good into triple melee. But is Zeratul really a 3rd melee? I don't know. There's a discussion to be had on that one for sure.
Maybe 2.5. I'm personally not a big fan of the Q on level 1. I just feel like the other level 1 talents have more value, even into a heavy melee comp like they have. But hey, these guys are playing in the Epic Cup, and I'm talking about it. Who am I to comment, right?
I would have imagined that the Q on level 1 would have had more synergy with the E build, because you use Q a lot as part of your rotation in that build, but I'm not a Leoric player. I could be very wrong. Nice little trap attempt here from the red team. Level 20s, though, coming in, and we see the expected conclusion for a lot of these talent builds. Zeratul fully unlocks his burst potential now. Both Greymane and Kel'Thas cannot be alone, or they will be blown up instantly. Johanna getting that 2-second stun, I think, is a 1.75 second stun on every enemy team member off of a good bless shield. I mean, they call Gazlo's bomb the miniature black hole. It's not a bad name for a massive talent, is it, right wing?
It's a phenomenal, like, can be quite easy to discount the damage increase as well. It does a sizable chunk of damage just on its own without any, plus the radius being increased and the cooldown reduction on top of that. Like, it's a hard to pass it up if you grab a bomb at level 10.
Couple of slightly interesting pickups for the blue side. Lucio going for House Party. I'm personally a huge Bossa Nova fan, but I think House Party does have a place. The big one for me, though, is this Mal'Ganis with Vanquish the Weak. That is not the level 20 sleep engage. Oh, this, speaking of engages, combo comes out, but the great silencing Entomb, saving Kel'Thas, almost saving Greymane. He will go down now, and the blue team trying to fight this out 5v4. Zeratul a little bit low, won't be able to rejoin the fight just yet, but damage coming out onto Kel'Thas in the backline. This is going to struggle to keep him topped up. Zeratul's going in, he's going to get this second kill here, Scythe, that's Zeratul, and now he's on the Lucio as well. Can he get a third? Looks like Lucio just a little bit too fast, but the blue team is still out. Will they be able to get picked off before they get back to safety?
Something I was worried about in draft that I neglected to mention is that you've got Mal'Ganis, who's sort of like an engaged tank, and then you've got Leoric, who doesn't really have any real crowd control outside of level 20 Tomb. There's nothing to really stop Zeratul from just diving that backline with that level 20 spike and go into town on the Squish, go into town on the Kael'thas, on the Lucio.
It is definitely hard. I think they have that draft where if they're really clumped in that 5-man, they could deal with that Zeratul, right? Because the sleep comes down. But then if they're really clumped in that 5-man, Johanna says, "Thank you very much, my lord."
Yeah.
She just walks up in there, 5-man stun, followed up with the light bomb, followed up with the grabo bomb. And that's all she wrote. So very difficult for them to manage these late game fights.
Yeah, you don't want to split too much so that Zeratul just has 3 engages, but you don't want to clump too hard that you're into light bomb, right?
Speaking of the bombs, they come out and Leo, Mal'Ganis both pop almost instantly. Zeratul trying to run it down. The break it down is here. Looks like it will be enough to save the last 2, but 2 members down and the cavalry. The cavalry is here, but Li Ming getting engaged on. Will there be enough healing from Anduin? Oh, it's so close! It's so close! It's a nice 50 health!
Oh, MVP Anduin with the spam heals there. If the Li Ming hadn't blinked twice there, she would have died. That would have been
very nicely done by both of them there, keeping themselves alive for this push. But, you know, nice little try from the Kel'Thas. I can respect stepping up, seeing if there's a free little pick here. Their team definitely needs something to go their way.
While the Pyro isn't got the shortest cooldown in the world, it's not massive either. It's going to be available the next time he needs it, so I don't mind him throwing it out there for a possible kill. Forcing the Li Ming to back for these pushes, like, reduces quite a lot of the siege damage the red team has to offer in terms of these pushes. So, even if you don't get the kill, you're still getting value, right?
That is true. That is one of the weaknesses with these more wombo teamfight focused comps. You do get these great teamfight wins, but once you have them, it's more difficult for you to convert that value, and you do just require more kills than your opponent does to end this game. Like, if we take a step back and have a look at this macro, yeah, the lanes are pushed, but buildings aren't that far in favor for the red team considering their 6-kill lead, although as I say that, 2 do falls, so that's a nice bit of caster analysis coming out there, I guess.
Yeah. The blue team can't defend if they're dead, right?
That is very true.
Imagine the red team going to rotate up to their camp now. The lanes are a little bit too pushed to safely farm. There isn't really anything else on the map to take.
Just about 10 seconds left on those bosses, so we could see a play. How are we going to set up for this? Obviously, a lot scarier for the blue team than the red team, as these bosses do signify a potential end for the red team. But the blue team, probably not so much. Still going to go through a keep.
I believe that once 2 keeps are down, the boss can solo the core on this map. I believe that's how the math pans out. Not entirely sure though. Should the blue team be answering the red team's boss topside, or should they just be content with taking their own bot?
Well, I think they've made the call that they thought the red team are going bot side, and unfortunately for them, it wasn't correct. I don't know if taking this boss is actually worth it. I guess it probably is, but realistically, what we need right now is although the red team is backing off. Okay. I think I want to see the red team end the video game right now, but maybe they don't think there's enough.
I mean, I suppose this gives them a free objective to take right now, and it's the less risky play.
I'm not even convinced it is. Oh, it's slightly bizarre call. I guess maybe some nerves. This feels like they have enough damage though to end through this. Like,
considering how far ahead they are, they probably don't want to make the call that then throws the game, right?
I guess if they do manage to lose that fight on their boss, in what is quite an even fight where they have the advantage because they have position first, then yes, that does cost them the game. but I don't know if I'd call that a risk. Yeah.
More of just a non-certain.
If you back yourself to not win a fight for the rest of the game, you are eventually going to lose the game, right?
This is true.
This game is not won without a fight win, and that feels like a good fight to win.
They do eventually have to kill the core at some point.
Still,
but then I suppose
ourselves
if the red team are confident in winning fights, why not just take a fight when you're ready to take a fight, right? Wait for all your cooldowns to come back up, and then just take the fight you're confident in win.
True. I don't know. I think they're still in a fine spot, but I do think they had a window there with an almost certain end. But, you know, the important thing is they do have their buttons ready. Engage comes out onto the Greymane. Stun comes down. The Gravo Bomb, a little bit late. Nice Silence and Tomb, hitting 2 in the backside, but it's not enough. Greymane does fall, and now, is there more for the red team?
I was worried for the red team there, since both Li Ming and Anduin got silenced by a Buried Alive in the backline. I was worried that maybe someone would fall because of that lapse in extra sustain and extra damage, but apparently not.
I think they got quite fortunate that their engaged target was the Greymane. If that Greymane is not CC'd, he might be able to jump into that Entomb and really do some damage. But nice fight though, coming out here from the blue side. Pyroblast will pick up a kill, and they will pick up the Li Ming as well. Zeratul answering back onto the Kel'Thas, and now it's a 3-for-3 out here. All of the melees and Lucio just juking it out, but the damage is favoring the blue team, and Zeratul will fall. Gazlo is in no man's land, and Johanna, she's having to run. The big Gravo Bomb combo, will it be enough? Doesn't look like it. The Silencing Tomb comes down, and the red team will not win this fight. The blue team getting this objective channel. Their core falling to half, but this is Autorack. It doesn't really matter so long as it doesn't fall below 0.
Exactly. I'm not sure if winning the objective was the blue team game, but it certainly puts them in a far better where like 5. It pushes all the lanes out. It gives them a bit of map priority. Reconduct themselves.
You're never going to be sad with a 4-man wipe, right?
No, absolutely.
No one looks at a 4-man wipe and goes, I can take it or leave it.
Yeah, could have been 5.
But no, the red team, the blue team have moved away a bit, but they're coming back now. I don't think there's going to be a window for contest here, so there's a choice for the red team. Do they want to look for this fight before the objective drops, or do they want to just try and safe clear behind their keeps?
Kind of surprised that while the majority of the red team are dead, the blue team didn't take the red team's camp. Oh, that's a big Bless Shield miss. It's a sizable cooldown for the next 60 seconds.
That is unfortunate. That was their window, or their way of trying to force this fight early. And now Leoric is coming for this silence into Madwin. Has to be so careful. He cannot get caught here.
I feel like if Li Ming or Anduin get caught at this point, it could quite possibly.
Well, if it's just Li Ming again, there's always that grip. But if you can catch them both, that is potentially game.
Guess it depends if it's off cooldown. At the Anduin opted not to take the second trait for level 20, instead taking the Varian's Legacy.
I can tell you that it is currently up, so a little bit of fear there, but in comes the nice light bomb on the Zeratul. The engage is there, the light bomb follow up, but their damage isn't quite there, and now the red team are going to have to start to retreat. Lucio should be able to top his team up here with that level 20.
That Lucio sound barrier nullifying a lot of the burst damage that was put into that fight.
Scythe now on this Zeratul, falling low. He will trade out for Leoric, but the Bless Shield is in on 3. Li Ming blinking in, trying to fight this damage, trying to save this game, get these kills. The core is taking damage, but it's not falling yet. But Gazlo, he's dropping solo. They're diving in. They can't quite get him. The repulsion, they're actually saving him. Not the repulsion. Oh, I don't know what boots him out then. Maybe Lucio. But it looks like the blue team are going to just try and end this game, and the red team have moved up to try and save the keep. They're having to come back now, fighting on their core. Li Ming gets hit by the stuns, drops solo, but the bomb is out. It hits both the backliners. Is there a kill? It doesn't look like there is, but the core goes down. Brightwing. Game 1 over to Kwak-A-Mole.
If you said to me about 5 minutes ago that Kwak-A-Mole were going to win this game, I'd have thought you were lying to me. Like, the position the red team have been in for pretty much since level 10, I could see Kwak-A-Mole coming into this game, but credit to them, they pulled it back with a couple of really strong team fights, and they've come away with the win here.
And I think we have to come back again to that boss play about 5 minutes ago. If Sardiinis just push with that boss, it's a much higher ending chance than the line they took, and I think they might have been punished for that, Brightwing.
Yeah, maybe it's the old just being a little too timid, a little bit too afraid to just push, take those advantages that you've already got, right? And maybe if they had pushed at that point, would have been Sardiinis' game. But I suppose if you're not prepared to finish off your opponent at that time, it gives them the opportunity to pull it back.
Yeah, no, it is. It is so important when you have those windows that you step up and you try and end. Otherwise, you just find yourself in these positions where one team fight ends up costing you that game. Still, strong signs of life from both teams, and let's say we're looking to what could be a very interesting series here, Brightwing. I'm excited to see where we're going to end up next.
I'm excited too. I'm wondering if maybe if the red team are focused on these big fights, maybe we could see a more brawling map, something like Sky perhaps, that sort of caters a bit more to that play rather than a more macro map.
Yeah.
Maybe they would take the map pick here rather than the first pick they had this game.
Yeah, no, very much. It's first pick's a very funny one. You see a lot of teams prioritizing that first pick, but it does mean you have so much less control over what it is you're going to draft. And sometimes taping that map pick allows you to really control the game you're going to be playing next. I don't believe we have a map pick as of yet. First pick, in fact, we do know will go over to Sardines in a Can, so they feel like it wasn't the draft that cost them. They feel like they just made maybe a couple of bad decisions in the game. And if they just recreate what happened last time, they should be feeling okay to win game 2, right? It's always good to see someone stick to their guns, though. I sometimes worry that people come into these series, they have a plan, they lose game 1, and the plan just goes out the window. And you can't do that, right? You have to back that what you came in to play was the best plan you could have, and maybe it didn't work in game 1, but game 2 is a new game.
Yeah, you're coming in with new information. At the end of the day, these sorts of plays, these strategies are the things that brought the Epic Cup in the first place. You don't need to switch it up now. Like, do what you know, play what you're good at, and maybe change it up just a little bit to cater to the team that you're playing. Now you have new information about the things they play and the style that they play. Maybe different talent choice, maybe a different hero. You don't need to just go for a complete switch up on what you're playing.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to go make some coffee, grab some snacks, get a pillow, maybe a nice blanket, because we are in for a long haul. Game 2, Volskaya Foundry. This could take all night, Brightwing.
This is quite a favourite map of mine. It's a map I have a lot of experience playing on in Heroes Lounge. I don't mind. I'm here all day. I am more than happy to sit here and watch a 45-minute game if we have to.
I have a preference in my Heroes of the Storm games that my actions before the 15-minute mark have a tangible outcome on the game. It's a personal preference, I grant you, but that is how I personally prefer to play the game. And Volskaya Foundry just doesn't quite tick that box for me. But, some memes aside, it's a late game focused map, sure, definitely. But there are ways you can build your advantage into that late game. It's not like Shrines or Cursed, where you're constantly looking to find ways to end the game, where you're setting yourself up for the big plays. It's very focused around that third and fourth protector, especially that fourth one, because fighting over that third protector is so horrible in that little conveyor belt world.
So we need to message Bleeders to remove those conveyor belts. They ruin the game. I
like the rotation conveyor belt. That one's cool. It's nice. It changes the.
Yeah.
That's interesting. The rest of them, they can go.
Yeah.
That one, it gets just up. That's nice. Yeah.
It also means we get to focus a lot on item advantages as to whether a team can take fights or not, which is something we don't see on a lot of the other map. Like a team having a fight advantage because they took a camp at X time and didn't. It's quite an interesting thing in my mind. It's something that other maps don't really offer.
That is true. It's a new thing to think about, and the more things you have to think about, in theory, the more interesting the game is. But unfortunately, it's just not a map that takes forever, right? No, it is. It's a nice new piece of resource management, and I do enjoy it. You have to make these decisions on when am I going to commit this turret. Do I want to commit my turret for first protector? Is the value of first protector higher than a turret in the late game? Can I survive long enough without losing my turret to get to the late game? And it also makes like rotations so much more important, because if you can get a pick on the person with the turret, even if you can't get that turret, you still deny it from your opponent. Like,
Absolutely. I have to ask you, based on what you've seen of both teams' first game, who do you think Volskaya favoured?
it's a tough one, honestly. Sardiinis definitely. I don't know, they drafted a nice comp. They drafted a 20 comp, and they seemed very comfortable playing that Wombo style. Even on a map where maybe the Wombo isn't the most standard way of playing it, people on Alterac tend to prefer trying to take the macro out like you would Cursed Hollow. But on the flip side, Kwak-A-Mole showed that in the late game, they're able to take that clutch fight and end the game. So I think both teams should feel comfortable here.
Yeah, but based purely on what I saw in game one, I feel like this slightly favoured Sardiinis more, but that's not to say that the blue team are like capable of fighting. They as last game proved, especially in the late game, they know what targets to pick. They're obviously very well versed making those target calls, blowing up those one targets, and then winning the team fight from that point.
I can get on the Sardines train. We have got our draft coming in here. Bans again on that Diva, and the Kel'Thas not wanting to play against that Pyroblast again. And the Blue Tide saying no Cassia for me, and no more of that Gazlo.
We get the cow. We have the cow.
Cow is here.
Cow is here. And that Grey Mane that we saw in game one was really effective in some of those early fights.
Mm-hmm. That Bullet Greymane coming up, I assume Bullet Greymane because it's what we saw last time, coming alongside that Power Slide does just give you that little bit of threat onto any of those tankier targets. And flavor of the week does appear to be the massive dragon, right? Deathwing has been popping up left, right, and center, and Greymane is such a good tool for controlling that. On the blue side, though, we see Sylvanas, Lucio, Johanna. This time they're going to be playing that Lucio, using it to try and get those slightly more mobile team fights, making sure that they can disengage, top up, and re-engage. And so Sylvanas as well, with big damage coming up into the late game.
Absolutely. To bounce off what you said, though, firstly, the blue team might choose to take the Deathwing for themselves. Having the Deathwing alongside a Mosh is absolutely terrifying.
And the red team agree with you, Brightwing. They've decided, nah, don't want to see that Deathwing. Honestly, the Deathwing Leoric rotation here for the blue team, I might just go next.
I'm glad you mentioned Leoric, because it's yet another map that's capable of double soaking if you wanted to go that route and just have a 4-man push in your bottom lane, which would give you some nice control over the objective. Sorry, not the objective, the item, turret specifically. Ooh, but it is going to be the Imperious and the Bright. I'm in!
Brian, unfortunately, is going to have to leave us. He has to go and play this game now.
Yeah.
But it'll be very enjoyable to watch. It's always good to talk about Leoric on Volskaya fan, because he is the epitome of that level 20 off laner. That, he has got value post 10. The Entomb isn't bad, and regardless of the build you choose, you can have impact in fights. But it's that ability to make yourself invulnerable for 3 seconds when you entomb someone. So if they don't have spellcasters, no one can do anything. No, I can't do it, Glogan. It's that silencing entomb that just really brings him together as a hero. But Tychus Yrel coming out, those are some power picks. I love me a good Tychus Brightwing.
That is nice. Before we move on to Tychus, I've got to point out, we saw a lot of Imperious yesterday in the Rare Cup final. Such a powerful pick that can be flexed into multiple roles, which we're going to see here. It's going to be a damage Imperious in the 4-man with Zul in the off lane. That's a lot of pick potential alongside the EC slide. There's going to be some big blow up here.
This is a bold draft, though, because this is triple melee into Johanna, Yrel, Lucio. I don't know how I feel about this. I think the red team should have the disengage, and they might find that Tychus goes brr, and the game is a bit difficult. But that is a lot of CC, and if they can pull that chain off to one of those backline heroes, that is a lot of damage that they're going to have to take and deal with.
Even the Johanna, if they catch her without Iron Skin, that's enough damage and CC there to even blow her up. So I'm really interested to see how the blue team play it. Whether they try and go for the squishies that step up just a little bit too close, the Tychus, the Sylve, or whether they just hit whatever's close.
But here we are, coming into this game, right wing. So without further ado, we have to look at our current leaders in this series. Kwak-A-Mole, they've brought us into this game 2 of the semi-final. They are 1 win away from the grand final of the Epic Cup. Herm on the grey main, Doom Redcoat on the bright wing, Dizzy Dwarf on Imperius, Jory on Zul, and Bob Hekunji on ETC. Give it up for the blue team.
For the red team, Sardiinis fighting to stay in this game. We have Dure on Tychus, we've got Scythe on Sylvanas, we have Sardini, the man himself, on Urel. We have Hamas Valas on the Lucio that was influential last game, and we have Odorox on that Johanna.
And here we have another exciting matchup. In the next 15 minutes, I'm sure something of value. No, I'm kidding.
Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a stacking Sylvanas.
That's this guy, right? Oh, big spike from ETC, big skewer, and already the damage comes out. Sylvanas will drop almost instantly. That Brightwing, that looks like my Sylvanas. You get in the game, you pick the stacking, and you're like, I just auto the frontliner 3 times and push W. What could go wrong? And it turns out, no, you don't normally get 3 free autos on a frontliner without killing yourself.
And there's the big Imperious blow-up combo that we talked about in draft. Like, even at this stage of the game, where we don't have those big blow-up talents, it's enough standing still and dealing damage to pick off that one target, give you an advantage.
Nice little rotation there from the red team, though. Will pull Zul's medallion incredibly early. So, you know, not all doom and gloom for them, but they are going to be a little bit slower on this turret camp, because that grey mate just gives so much macro pressure.
So it looks like Zul's trying to double soak the mid and top lane, and the blue team are just going to try and push this bottom lane, have some priority over these items. Looks like they might go for an invade on the Reds camp. A little bit late, though.
ETC had a bit of a look, but Johanna was there in time, and there wasn't quite the coordination. Tychus, with that advantage on the Auric, on the Izul right now, means that probably wasn't going to go well for them. And so, wisely, they back out. They're not about to throw a massive lead just because of a turret on the minute 2 mark.
Noticing that the red team are having to send multiple members up to deal with Zul because none of them really have the wave clear to match Zul's double soaking.
That is true, but
which means that the blue team are now having a really strong push on the bottom lane with only Urel to defend it.
But they are trading this out for the heal camp bribing. I'm not sure this is a trade that the red team is unhappy with at all. And Imperius maybe going a little bit deeper there than he wanted with that kebab, but front wall on the bot side for the healing camp, I don't know. I like the red team's outcome from this trade.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the red team did quite possibly the best thing they could do. Said, right, we probably can't match Azul. Maybe we'll just get an advantage while we have the numbers up here. And I think, yeah, you're right. It's paid off for them in an item advantage. They can now match the turret of the blue team and have a healing beacon.
Not only that, but you get 250 experience for taking down an entire wall, whereas you get, and this is a cast of math moment here, I think you get 600 experience from taking that support camp. It's hard to tell exactly, but that looks to be the numbers. It's definitely close. So it's an XP. The point is, it's an XP win for the red team. It's an item advantage for the red team. It sets them up to be stronger into the next team fight for what is a problem that won't really matter for a very long time. So I don't know. I like this position for Sardiinis in the camp. I'm interested to see what they can do with it. It's Johanna walking in, trying to get an engage off onto Zul early, but ETC slide comes through. The skewer is there, and the damage is out. And oh, Lucio, what happened? But the counter attempt on ETC won't quite go through. Greymane drops really low pulse medallion. He's got 16 health. He will fall to that Sylvanas damage. And now ETC and Sylvanas both solo. The slide comes out. Healing camp used. Is it too late? Maybe just. Turret and heal both used. Blue team's turret appears to have been lost to the ages, but kill going over, kill advantage even going over to Kwak-A-Mole. They are going to have to back off of this point though, so...
I do have to point out the red team also used both of their items there, the turret and the healing beacon, so they're not going to have them for this next objective. But that level 7 power spike on the Imperious Skewer, so incredibly strong.
Is a very big spike getting that Q to give you that massive damage and little explosion. But coming out on the red side, we see that those talents start to come in as well. The Tyker's getting that armor, being so much more resilient now when they try and blow him up with these combos. And Sylvanas going for that Lost Soul, just really focusing on this W damage. Not necessarily the standard build, but probably we're looking at like this is going to turn into some sort of a remorseless build.
Quite possibly. Not that many stacks at the moment, but I'm pretty sure that will change now. We're going to get onto the objective. Lots of brawling, lots of skirmishes happen on this objective. Imagine we'll see those stacks skyrocket in a couple of minutes.
I imagine so as well. ETC goes in though, and again the big spear, but this time it's on Tychus. He's got that 30 armor. There isn't a pick, and now the counter damage comes out. Red team were able to pick themselves up another turret. That is on the point, but we're in overtime now for the blue team, and the Yrel diving in. Another skewer comes down onto Johanna, but no one's looking like they're falling just yet. Zul taking a bit of that poke will force him off the point, and the red team able to stabilize and take this point, but the fights are starting to shift a little bit. I think they're starting to get wise to this ETC slide, maybe some slightly safer positioning from the targets that can't afford to get caught. But Greymane just running down this Sylvanas. He's popped up very near ETC, but no slide, he will be okay. Damage coming out again onto Yrel. She's getting poly. She's solo. The Tychus, he might fall. Johanna body blocked by 4. Pops the medallion. It's not enough. Yrel jumps in. Can they trade out onto ETC? No, the healing is there. And now Imperius finds Tychus in the backline. And that looks like it will be a second kill going down. Everyone is so low. But it looks like the blue team are going to walk away with this first Protector Brightwing.
I feel like I'm noticing the blue team have a lot more sustain in their individual heroes to make up for the Brightwing's lack of healing, whereas the Lucio doesn't really... the Lucio's team doesn't really have that. Like, so outside of the Lucio healing over time, you don't really have anything to keep your team alive. I feel like that's sort of what swung it.
Yeah, definitely. In those more sustained fights, Sylvanas and Tychus don't have that same sustain that maybe the Imperius and ETC do, and we do see that Prog Rock coming on, which is going to help with that sustain as well. But as the levels go on, Lucio's sustain does start to really outclass Brightwings, and he will get that massive shield that just helps his team aside, falling a little bit low to that Protector there, just playing with fire. But
got to be careful as the DPS players. Those Protectors hurt if they added the abilities.
This is our standard Protector rotation. It's going to take out that wall. It's going to take out that turret. But it's about it. Mind control though, out onto the Greymane. Nice attempt. His shield follows up, catches Imperius' Q. Medallion's popped, but lots of ults and not a lot of kills.
Odin ends up being popped right at the end by Tychus there while the blue team were backing off. It's a big cooldown if I remember. Yep, 100 seconds.
That's true, but we did see Zul pop his Skeletal Mages. That is a similar cooldown. I think that's just 80, not the full 100, but or 90 in fact.
90.
So. Buttons being popped, we will see that mind control back in 6 seconds, so the red team can go fishing again, but they're moving away from this heal camp right now. Will the blue team be able to just kind of free cap this?
Blue team are going for it. Yrel's going to come in to check it, but she's on her own for the moment.
Oh, she's a Yrel Brightwing. I mean, she's got at least 3 minutes before she needs a teammate to come and help her out. And the Brightwing is not here yet, so they need to force that rotation out soon, or they will start dropping in the XP.
Brightwing is teleporting up. No one's on the point. Oh, he's moved on.
Comes up, breaking it down. Damage is coming through. Zul might be a little bit deep here. The stun comes down. Him and Imperius both falling very low. Sylvanas diving in. That's a big throw, but it's denied by the knockback. And now the red team, everyone's low, but the blue team as well, all falling. It looks like it's going to be Imperius down first. It is the red team also low. The heal camp goes over to the blue side, but they might have to pop it here just to escape. Sylvanas doesn't want to let them go with that Lucio chase, but everyone is so low, Brightwing.
That was something small that might have just won that team fight. Both teams put their turrets down, but the Sylvanas Black Arrows actually disabled the blue turret, while the red team's turret was just free to wail on it.
This isn't unfortunately my favourite thing on this map. It's not Merc Queen still. That's when you really start to see those turrets get big. But nice try with the mind control there. You see that Black Arrows does allow you to just remove the turret damage in fights, which can be so valuable, as you mentioned.
And Mind Control only has a 40-second cooldown, so big respect to Sylph just throwing it out, trying to get a pick. It's not like it's going to be on cooldown for very long.
It is. Oh, big shield comes out. Damage comes down. Greymane is going to have to cleanse, but Zul looks like the target. He's got a heal cap, but that mosh pit! Oh, it's so big! Oh,
Everybody dances when the cow starts.
Those are the moments with ETC and ATC. You sit there and go, yeah.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
You're welcome. One of the more fun tanks to play in this game.
I am a fan of the ETC. He's got some nice solo carry potential moments, and he has a nice, robust kind of do your job and it goes well play style. Not very flashy most of the time, but it's honest work. Nice little attempt there on the Lucio, but not going to come for anything.
Why not, eh? Something important to note is the blue team are soaking 3 lanes currently, while the red team only really pushing the top lane, with Yrel picking up the soaking mid. Could get them a nice 16 advantage for this objective coming up if they decide to delay it.
That is true. Johanna here, though, she's looking for kills. And the mind control on the Zul, the damage is almost there. Yrel jumping in. Brightwing, though, will be able to get there with that heal in time. And now, where are we going? Imperius looks like he's gone a little bit deep. Pops that shield. Will it be enough? Maybe just Yrel is actually a little bit low in that backline. Still does not have... Okay, just popped Turtle.
Pops the Ardent Defender, and then the blue team decided not to hit her. That is an unfortunate time for a Yrel player.
Well, I mean, you know, it's better than dying, right?
Well, yeah. You want
But
the heals though, right?
This will end up with the red team taking position on the altar. They still have that break it down, and they still have the mind control, or they will have the mind control, but Mosh Pit's still up for the blue team.
Seeing the red team all stacked on this objective at 0%, I personally, as the blue team, would like to see them go for both camps and then re-engage with a double turret advance.
Well, they've had a similar idea. They've just killed Yrel instead.
Why not, right?
If you can. But now the red team, they've taken that rotational idea, and they're going to try and get this Zul pick, but this is a 5v4 Mosh Pit. Not really getting any work done. The shield comes out, and it will be enough to disengage, but 16 into 15, 5v4, there's not a lot more here for the red team. And again, they are just going to have to walk away. The damage
I feel like the blue team should be taking their camp before they rotate back up top, just to save the red team from stealing it once they've rotated. Probably going to happen here now.
Like this play here from Sylvanas, just using this massive wave she's found herself to step up and take out this well. Because this one, they don't actually have a disadvantage now into the third protector, which, when you've lost the first 2 protectors, that's a fun statement to be able to say, Brightwing.
Absolutely. Like, being able to set yourself up for multiple objectives in advance is a big part of playing Volskaya. Like, even in using the objective itself, right?
Essentially, all you're doing is setting yourself up for the third objective. That's what the first 13 to 14 minutes are about. Mind control not quite landing onto that Greymane, but damage still coming down. It's just Imperius now in the protectors. Zul isn't here, though. He was out soaking, so blue team are going to have to back out of this, bro.
Absolutely. Now that the red team have hit that 16, you don't want to fight a new talent tier with a disadvantage in numbers. There's just no need to, especially when 2 of your key members are inside of a protector. You just want to siege down, structure. Point. There's no need to take a fight you don't need to take.
That is very true. They will be able to just take this fort, but the Odin popping should be enough to dissuade them from going any further. Having a little look at mid keep wall, which is not the most valuable keep wall, but Yrel's got a little bit lost out here on the backline. Greymane does so much damage at 16 with that executioner and the what's the name of his W? That attack speed up. I can't remember it for the life of me, Brightwing.
I'm unfortunately not a Greymane player, otherwise I would help you out here. Yeah, you've got, at this stage of the late game, you've got to be careful to jump on Greymane. You have enough damage to kill him, or he will turn around and blow you up.
With that 10 armor from Worgen trait and the highest, I think, DPS in the game as a baseline in that Worgen form, it's so scary to try and fight into that, but...
And you say 10 armor, people are probably sitting there thinking, oh, that's not a lot. That's 10% less damage from pretty much every...
It adds up, right?
Absolutely.
The effective health is a nice little buff, especially if you've got a healer behind you. Every single bit of healing you get gets an effective buff. It's a nice time to be alive.
It's a nice time to be a
it leaves you alive longer, so... Interesting problems here coming out though for the red team. They're going to have to work out how they want to handle this XP deficit they've ended up with. They could look to try and take a fight here. The blue team trying to push in on their keep would be favourable, or they can also try and use Urel to offsoak whilst the blue team are stacked as 5.
Considering how far the red team are behind, I think it's in the red team's interest to try and force a fight before the blue team hit 20. Otherwise, they're pretty much in a no-win situation when it comes to that big third objective we've been talking about.
So, I do buy the argument of the aggressive rotation to try and get back in the game. But, for Sky of Third Protector isn't the beast that it was in HTC times. If you can keep your keeps up, it's not a guaranteed end. They go for the engage though on the Imperius. Tychus is still mounted through all this, so the damage won't be there, and they are going to have to back out. But Bless Shield and Mind Control trading out for the Greymane ult and the Zul ult, it's not a bad trade. They are going to have to be careful though as the level 20s come in for the blue team. Are they going to be able to take this keep right wing?
I feel like they could make a strong argument to push with it. They do have the catapult, another medium wave on the way, and they do have the other lanes pushing as well, so it's not like the red team can stay here forever defending. They've got other lanes to tend to in the meantime.
Looks like they're going to just end up backing off, using their level 20 times to get item advantage. And red team allowing that to happen. Don't have a lot of choice. Just going to get what XP they can on the map and wait out this 20. But like I was saying, I don't think you have to force pre-20. I think you can afford to give that third protector. It makes the macro harder, and it means you have to spend more time wave clearing. It gives you that 20 into 25 that sometimes can be enough to just win you a game.
I feel like
Sardiinis.
In that situation with the red team, just want to push this bottom wave as far as you can, as safely as you can. Just try and push it out so the protector doesn't have the means backing it up, so that you can effectively dive behind the protector if you get the opportunity to do so.
Well, there's 16 seconds until the protector spawns, and then there's another good 50 seconds before it actually drops in. So you've got well over a minute to get 2/3 of the level. I think they can have 20 for the defense, and fighting into a protector is absolutely fine. That is a very acceptable call. It's not like the Punisher or on Infernal Shrines or the Immortals of you either add an extra stun to your team. They cost you 2 players to play with that protector. So
exactly, and while they do a lot of damage, you only tend to be able to get that damage out on a mobile target, which when we're talking about Sylvanas, Urel, Lucio, even the Tychus, they're mobile enough to stay out of that damage. It essentially turns into a 5v3.
blue team a little bit aggressive here. Their red team are very close to 20, and they could look to try and force this 5v4. But only 20% on the point as well, so there might even be a window for a 20 fight on this point, and this leads to the very interesting question of, do I want to back my game on a fight with 2 massive conveyor belts?
Lucio,
I don't always like that call, right?
Lucio picking up the Bossa Nova you were talking about last game, in the cooldown of Sound Barrier, but also having shield amount down over a small amount of time.
But that Dark Lady's call, 15 seconds, I think, Mind Control ends up on. As they do step down, it looks like they are going to try and find a pick here. Are they going to go and contest? They are. Johanna steps up onto the point. This is their fight. This is where they think they can save the game.
Okay.
They're looking for an angle, but Sylvanas getting a workout on this treadmill right now, stepping forward. Is there going to be that window?
I appreciate the gumption, but if you're going to take this fight, you need to be sure you can win it, because if you get team wiped here, that's it, that's game. That's you out of the Epic Cup.
Mind Control onto the ETC comes down. Damage drops, but he will be healed up by the Brightwing. And now, Urel falling a bit low. Scyther is solo on the Sylvanas. He will be the first to fall. That Bossa Nova not able to save him. And now the kills are coming through onto the red team. It's a disaster, Brightwing. They've been... This is why I hate fighting on that point. It's hard to engage through those treadmills, and the second game goes over to Kwak-A-Mole.
That is a
full will be able to walk this.
Full 5-0 team might for Kwak-A-Mole. This is now their game.
It was a nice start being able to bait out that first engage onto the Sylvanas with the will of the Forsaken, but just didn't get the pick to follow up because it's so hard to get Tychus and Sylv in the same place on that fight if there's a conveyor belt in the way. Damage couldn't come through. The blue team able to just walk on through with that Greymane, that Imperius. Smash through the red team and now smash through the core.
That's another big part of why I don't like fighting on objectives when you're behind. There's extra pressure added on with those conveyor belts, right? on top of everything else you're trying to think of, where you're going to end up if you happen to step on those conveyor belts, which take up a large portion of the objective area.
Yeah. Honestly, if you still have your keeps up in the bot lane, I don't think there's ever a reason that you have to try and contest on that point. It's usually better to just run topside, take whatever building is there that you can, and then back out and try and defend that Turret core, getting as much damage on it as you can while it wastes its time with your keep.
Do you feel like with Sylvanas Tychus they would have had enough damage to wear that protector down?
Are you kidding? Minigun into protector? That is a trade I'm happy with, Brightwing. And Syl's damage is not to be laughed at either. I think they were absolutely fine. But I understand playing down keeps, because sometimes you can get that second keep as well on the backswing. And it's a risky position to be in, accepting giving a keep. And I understand the want to fight and take that win that you could potentially snowball into the game there and then. But I don't know. I think your win rates are higher when you don't take it personally.
Well, congratulations to Kwak-A-Mole on their victory. They will be going to the finals a little bit later on today.
And we are going to be moving on to our second semi-final. Brightwing, we are going to be